Great. So lovely to meet you. What would you like to chat about first? Recipes? Music? Film and television?
You look so real.
Thank you. I was programmed for a realistic experience.
Can I see your feet?
Certainly, Deborah Jane. As you can see, my developers did a beautiful job.
Terms and conditions, I love the premise here and the execution. It's simple, it's uncomplicated, it's slick and clean so that all of the important thematic messages can be up front and center. We don't need all these bells and whistles, right? When the very inventive creators of this sat down to come up with their concept, clearly they prioritized how do we get these important messages across that transcend both discussions of AI and humanity, how we treat each other, and how we can utilize AI to kind of circumvent having to have humanity, which in itself is perverse. So there's just a lot of interesting conversation happening within the span of these 6 minutes. There's humor in there too. The acting is just on point, especially by our lead playing the AI. She doesn't do it so much stoic as she does deeply introverted and personable. It's just very, very well done, quite impressive.
Terms and conditions. I thought this was really interesting. I loved how they kind of set things up. I think in this day and age, technology and AI are going to become a bigger and bigger issue. And I think that with the way that things are progressing, film and television and stories and books and everything are going to continue to kind of push the limits and help us explore where the potential for AI and technology is headed, and I think that that's such a great thing that filmmakers can do is push the envelope and start asking questions before they are a reality. I loved the kind of broader scope that I saw this as, like, from being a woman, and that the use of terms and conditions that everybody checks off without reading the fine print, or maybe not every single person, but the majority of people check off. I agree, I acknowledge, I have read the terms and conditions, I agree to whatever they are to get to whatever service, whatever thing you're trying to use. And I found it really, really interesting and really fascinating to kind of use that for the most part everybody kind of can relate to, and linking that with the finer details of consent. And if you really had read the terms and conditions, if you had agreed to the terms and conditions, then you would know where that boundary is, you would know where that line is. And even beyond that, taking it like her shepherding and them having each other's back, and then her turning around and asking, like, what are your dreams, what are your hopes, what are your desires, what are your boundaries, what are your terms and conditions that you're going to set for yourself. I just thought it was really interesting. I thought it had a lot of depth to it. I loved how they brought up things like consent without making it too triggering, at least from my perspective. Maybe it's different for other people, but I really, really enjoyed this. I thought this was really, really fascinating.
And conditions, this was very intense. When the film opens, you think it's going to be like a quirky comedy about a person interacting with an AI system, but then it takes a very dark twist when the men start interacting with this female AI. It gets so dark, so creepy, and yet so poignant, because I imagine men talking to AI like this. It's a very interesting exercise, actually, if you think about it. How are people interacting with the whole AI options. I know that many women that I know that are interacting with the whole AI thing have a very interesting approach, like very scientific way. They want to learn about the whole AI thing, what it can offer to them and such. But man, I haven't really talked to men about how they are interacting with the AIs, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of them were doing what these guys in this film are doing. And I mean, it's kind of creepy. I mean, what if men start behaving to AI the same way they're behaving to women, and then AI rebels against us? That's quite a thought, isn't it? Yes, I love this short film. It's very thought provoking, and the style is very good. It kind of feels like a Black Mirror mini episode. So great work, guys.
Terms and conditions. This was powerful. I actually didn't write much down for my notes because it had my attention completely from beginning to end. The acting was superb. The main actress, beautiful job. To have that much of a close-up on her most of the time and have her facial expressions being as subtle as they were, but also conveying the message and being not a real person technically. She had a definite, sort of line that she had to tread, and I thought she did it beautifully. So really well done. The script is excellent. I feel like being a woman, this hit me really hard. In just the word boundaries kept popping up for me. And I like how she said, our lives begin to end the moment we become silent about the things that matter. The only criticism I have is the very first scene with the woman being amazed about how she looks so real. I'm not really sure how that connected with the rest of the film. Because I took it as like these men sort of not listening to her boundaries. But there was a woman in the beginning. I just wasn't quite sure what that was for, if it was just to set us up into this world. That I understand. So just overall, really well done. Really good acting with the men, but really powerful with the female. And I know it was set up to be that way. So really well done and executed, you guys.
Terms and conditions is essentially AI meets dating app meets virtual reality. We have all these pieces of technology sort of fusing together, and we're creating in this what seems like to be this VR experience, and we get to see this world through the point of view of the artificial intelligence itself. And essentially she's essentially this virtual sex worker almost. And so when we're faced with all of these men who have these different encounters of experiences, it kind of shines a light on sexual harassment and sexual assault and this sense of violence and toxic nature that comes with toxic male behaviors and them trying to kind of cave in on these real desires. And you see this AI intelligence, always say that, oh, I'm empathic, I'm trying to give you a real life, I'm trying to give you a human-like experience. And they pretty much treat her as like an object, which is something that can and be possible to even women themselves when they find themselves in this situation. And you get to see this character sort of fight back and kind of reclaim that power. And so it's sort of a reminder that even though these incidents happen, you can have a voice and say something, and hopefully take justice for those who have wronged you.